Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Rodney, and I'm back. And I just wanted to come and talk about Caresha, please. Caresha finally speaks. Well, it's titled Caresha Speaks. I just woke up. It is 3:12 a.m. in the morning. I don't know what happened. I don't know what. I ate some tacos. I think I just was full. I really stuffed myself. I hadn't eaten all day long. And I had some ground turkey that I had cooked probably like 2 days ago, still in my refrigerator. And I went to this restaurant, but it was too many people. And I was like, I didn't. Once I saw it was too many people, I didn't even go inside. I just assumed based off of the cars and how I was looking, what I saw, who I saw in the restaurant, it was just too packed. So I was like, I'm just gonna go home and eat that ground turkey that I had. And so I came back home after I left the mall because I had to do a return, and came home, made some quick tacos, and this is probably around 8. Girl, I just woke up probably like an hour ago. So here we are. I'm probably gonna be up all day. Oh well, the rest of the night, I guess, or the rest of the morning. I don't know. However you say it. Let's go ahead and get into Caresha. Caresha speaks. Okay, so I thought this was cute. I did. I thought it was cute. I thought Saucy did a decent job. If I'm going to be honest, I thought there could have been a little bit more that they could have gave to us, or maybe Saucy asked the questions and they chose not to show it. But I think that they could have showed us a little, just a tad bit more. I think they could have really went there with some of the questions, and I'll give you a couple of examples. It starts out with Caresha letting us know that this was not, she didn't want to come across as strategic. This is the thing. I think that sometimes when people start to go down this road of not wanting to be appear strategic, um, that's not necessarily a bad thing. To me, it's not. In this situation, Caresha wanted to control her story. Caresha controlled the story. She did it on her platform. She made all the money. Girl, Carisha's already almost at 2 million views. I think within 24 hours, not even 24, some of the people were saying within 12 hours, she already had 1 million views. So I think that should at least, show Caresha that people are interested in what she has to say. Um, but I think that it was very strategic on her part for her to do it this way. And again, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. Um, they start out talking about her mental health. Saucy asked her a question about how is her mental health, and this was probably about 2 minutes into the conversation, and the girl Miss Thing just broke down. I said, "I know that's right, girl. Just let it out, sister. Let it out." Pretty much, she says she's all over the place emotionally. Um, She has her good days. She has her bad days. I got some hills to climb. Girl, she got her good days. I got my bad days. I got some hills to climb. She says, but when she looks at her kids, she knows that she can't give up. Um, some days she's like, just F it, I'm done. And then again, those days when she looks at her kids, she's like, I came too far, just to basically, girl, give it all up. Um, I want to say something. I know that this has to be, or at one point in Carisha's career, um, it had to be hard on her. I think that some people forget that Carisha, from y'all correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't keep up with the city girls like that. But Carisha was the one who kind of kept that group going. When JT was inmate, okay, when JT was inmate 973-5578, that group could have just went away. Carisha was on stage pregnant and girl doing the splits. Okay? Carisha was doing whatever she had to do to make sure that that group stayed afloat. She wanted to make sure that the trajectory of the group, girl, stayed the course. Um, so I think that we have to give Caresha her flowers when it comes to her making sure that the group was good, making sure, quiet as it's kept, that JT had a little bit of money when she came out of prison. I'm sure they set JT up with a nice little coin when she got out of prison. And I don't want to I don't want to girl. She probably had more than what she had coming out than what she had going in. So for that alone, and I'm not saying that JT has to be indebted to Caresha forever. No, but I think that some people need to just acknowledge that young Miami really held that group down the best that she could by herself. Um, I felt like this is where I do have a little critique. When she started talking about the things that she was going through, I wish that they would have elaborated on what she was going through. Right? I feel like we can play the guessing game. I assumed that they were talking about Diddy, and then right afterwards, they did transition into talking about Diddy. Um, when she said sometimes she's like "f this," um, then the next is like I'm not going backwards. She also mentioned when I was going through the stuff that she put when I was going through the ish, no one called. What were you going through? I think at that point, Saucy Santana should have said, "Well, Caresha, what were you going through? Where you felt that this is the end?" Right? I think that she should have elaborated on, "I was going through this," because I think this was the moment where if you were not a City Girls fan, if you don't keep up with the City Girls like me, I think this was a moment for her to just lay it out on the table, and I think that that's where they dropped a part of the ball. I get that Saucy Santana is her best friend, girl. God, well, let me shut up. I was about to say something anyway. Saucy Santana is her best friend, and I know that's all. That was also part of the plan to choose someone that you're comfortable with. I'm not mad at it. But I think before the interview, Saucy should have asked her or told her, they should have had a conversation because this is her platform. Sister, if we're going to do it, we got to do it the right way. And I'm going to have to ask you some questions. It may even appear as though I'm going to have, I'm giving you some pushback. But girl, if you're going to go out here and talk about and is Caresha speaks and Caresha tells it all, then girl, you're going to have to tell as much as you can. No, I'm not expecting for Caresha to go out there and spill every single detail. No, I'm not. Girl, that's not even realistic. Okay, but I was expecting Caresha to give just a tad bit more, just a tad bit more. Because again, now I'm stuck playing the guessing game of what were you going through? Were you going through mess with the record label? Were you going through mess with your baby daddy? Were you going through mess with your family? Your mama had just got out of prison. You know what I'm saying? Was all that weighing on you? Was it the stuff with Diddy? Like, girl, I feel like she should have went into detail. Um, because again, everybody does not keep up with the City Girls. And if you saw that this was one of the top interviews or one of these videos that has just got a million views, and you were like, well, who is this person? Let me kind of tune in and see what they're talking about. People will want to know. You know what I'm saying? You have to talk sometimes as if people don't know. Anyways, she said she felt like people turned their backs on her. And again, I think this is another point where I feel like this is where we have to get real with Caresha, please. Caresha, sister. I don't know who these people are, but I think Caresha also has to understand. I think Saucy should have pushed back and said, well, do you understand why some people may have turned their back on you or why some people wanted to distance themselves from you? Girl, if we're just going to be honest, you were connected to a man that they say is dangerous as hell. Now, we don't know if all these things that people have said about Puff Daddy are true, but do I believe a lot of it? Yes. They say that man is out here blowing up cars. They say that you were the queen of the South and you were moving pink cocalina. So I feel like she has to kind of grasp why people either started to pull away, right? Why people was like, because even when the mess started coming out, I think Caresha was still being seen with Diddy. You could be seen with him. I just ain't. It's kind of like, remember, I think it was Boosie. Remember when Boosie came out and was like, um, it was somebody. People was at the parties. Y'all want to say y'all like, girl, like, girl, duh, girl. Like, nobody's talking about going to the parties, even if they were there, even if they were not at the parties, girl, that where all the mess happened. Because from what I understand, there will be different parties. It would be the party where, girl, the girls will be just doing the 1, 2, and then, girl at girl at 2 o'clock when the lights go out, girl, it turned to a different party. Okay, I remember I saw a video of Molly, Yvonne, what's her name? You know, from Insecure. It looked like Puffy had like a barbecue. This was years ago, probably like 5, 6 years ago. I can't remember. It just looked like a family barbecue, and I think it was a video of her. Was it her? Girl, let me stop lying on that lady. I think it was either her or Keke Palmer. I can't remember, and they were like at Puffy's, like a barbecue, and it was like, it looked like everybody was having a good time. Like I'm sure that the girls who probably went to some of Puffy parties, those are probably some of the parties they went to. Then the other parties is where, girl, the mess was happening. It was like night and day. But at the end of the day, the point I'm trying to make is, George, I think she has to understand that even with the people who probably went to the family barbecues, the ones who went to the evening parties, they ain't coming out talking about those parties because they don't want to be associated at all with anything that's Puffy related. Even if they did not go to the freaks come out at night, the freaks, even if they didn't go to that one, girl, they still don't want to go. I don't want to talk about it. Girl, you gonna have to drag me into the courthouse for me to say, girl, did you go to a Puffy party? Y'all went to the one. It was a barbecue with fish fries, some gumbo, some red beans and rice. We was dancing, partying, having a good time. Girl, I went home around 9 o'clock at night. Girl, I don't know what happened after that. Okay. Ow. Anyways, she talked about Diddy. Of course, next up was Diddy. They transitioned to Diddy. Um, she says that she never thought that she was bigger than the program. I assume she meant the group. Now I have to say that there were more than a few times I did not understand what Caresha was saying. And I watched that interview, I know, at least 3 times. And I was rewinding certain parts because I was like, what did she just say? I was like, what did she just say? I don't know what she said. But anyways, she said she was no bigger. She said she was no bigger than the program. She didn't think she was bigger than the program. I'm assuming she meant group. She says that when she met Diddy, it was around a time that he was being celebrated, right? He was receiving his flowers. Um, and her experience wasn't like those of the allegations that people were saying. And that she is a 2-time DV survivor. So this is the thing that I would have for Caresha. And this is where I also feel like there should have been some pushback with Caresha. Her experience was not like that of Cassie's or Kim Porter's, allegedly. Hello, let me shut up. It was not like that of the other girls, and the I think it was the Vibe. Was it the Vibe editor? Was it Vibe who came out the magazine? Remember we talked about that, the lady who he threatened because he didn't get to see the magazine cover. You have these stories of these people who they say Puffy threatened them, he harmed them. Caresha said that was not her experience. However, as someone who is a 2-time DV survivor, how does it feel? What were your feelings when you saw that video of the man that you said that you fell in love with slinging his ex-girlfriend around that hotel room, the hotel room hallway? That they should have went there with it. Saucy, kind of brushed over the video like, the video that was out. What video that was out? Girl, if we gonna talk about it, talk about it. Again, I understand that Caresha not gonna come out and tell us every single detail. I don't expect that. Because if you're gonna bring it up, they're gonna bring it, then we need to go there. If we're gonna bring up that you are a two-time DV survivor, then we also need to bring up that the man that you said that you fell in love with, but she said in the interview that Puffy fell in love with her and she fell in love with Puffy. How did it feel to see the man that you fell in love with slinging, kicking, beating someone in the hallway of the Intercontinental Hotel? At some points in the interview, it should have gotten real uncomfortable for Caresha. Yes, that's her platform. But like I said, girl, if y'all are gonna bring these things up and talk about it, then bring it up and talk about it. She says that Diddy's relationship was beneficial. I absolutely believe it. I believe that she got more from it, as she should have. Um, I remember getting on the internet, and I still stand by this. At the time, Young Miami being connected to Diddy was great for her career. Young Miami was now being brought into this world that she probably would have not had access to if it was not for Diddy. We see Young Miami at the Met Gala, bumping shoulders with the who's who of Hollywood. She mentioned something about Vogue magazine. She has her own podcast. Like, being connected to Diddy really did help her gain access to these spaces that she probably wouldn't have gained access to without Diddy. Again, is that to say Caresha was broke? Because we got into it about this one time. I ain't trying to say Caresha was broke, but from the sounds of it, honey, that was 2 steps away from filing for food stamps. The money was not coming in. The city girls were not making any money. The well had ran dry. Huh. Okay. Um, and I also think for Diddy, him being attached to this girl, this woman, Caresha is beautiful. You cannot take that away from her. So to be attached, Puffy is this old man. He's aging out, right? For men, for women, they start to look at the women as old, girl, once you get one gray hair. You know what I'm saying? Girl, the men, they'll look at you as sexy at 50 and 60 and 70. How many people still walking around talking about Denzel Washington is sexy? You know what I'm saying? So you got Puffy who's aging out, but he's older, but so is he still kind of him attaching himself to someone young who's his hood chick. I think it kind of kept him it brought him back into the younger crowd, if that makes sense. And then she was saying how she helped Revolt get the #1 podcast, how she kind of got DeLeon popping. When Saucy said, nobody was drinking that. I don't think I think that I had DeLeon one time, and I think that was at the Usher concert. Because I think on top of the drinks we had, no, I didn't. No, I didn't. I think my friend had DeLeon, and I just got a Tito's. I can't remember, but I remember him telling me. I can't remember. I don't think I've ever tried DeLeon. I think my friend had DeLeon. I can't remember. It don't even matter, child. She says that he encouraged her to do a podcast. It wasn't all about Chanel and all of that. She wanted to actually learn from him. Um, she saw how he had a chief of staff, so she was like, "I need a chief of staff." Well, girl, I mean, no shame. Girl, Puffy was a billionaire. I don't know if he still is. Girl, the money that he handing out, I'm sure he not. Girl, but at one point they said Puffy was a billionaire. So, girl, it would make sense he need a chief of staff. Young man, girl, you don't need a chief of staff. You probably need a manager. Okay. But a chief of staff, you don't need all that. You don't need all that. Girl, you should get you a little manager and go about your business. But anyways, she just said basically she wanted to learn from him, and what she said made sense. If I'm going to be around this man, this mogul, this man who has built girl a career. Now, how he got it, whether he stole, I don't know, child, but he's built this career. Um, I need to learn from him. It would be dumb. It would have been dumb for Caresha to have been around Puff Daddy and not tried to utilize him as much as she could. If I'm gonna say something, and I don't want this to come out the wrong way, the girls over there who are hidden in the background, and girl, you might get a couple of bags and shoes, girl, you're foolish. It's one thing for you to get with somebody, you just get a couple of things, you're gonna buy your business, but to keep there are girls over there that have been connected to Puffy who he has on the string and has been had on the string for probably years. At least, girl, not, I'm sorry, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. At least with Caresha, Caresha got something out of the deal. Caresha got to go to the Met Gala. She was hanging around the Anna Wintours. She was hanging around the Black Hollywood. She was hanging around the White Hollywood. She got a podcast. Okay. She was on the private jets. Not only was she getting the Chanel bags and getting flued out, she was also getting flued out, girl, to go to the A-list parties and to network. Hello? So Caresha would have been a fool if she just would have settled for a few Chanel trips and a few rides on a private jet. So she better had got her black ass over there and utilized the situation as much as she could. Okay? So now Puff Daddy is not in the picture anymore. She still has her podcast. It, if Caresha stays on the right track, she could still be successful with her podcast. She could. If she doesn't come in trying to change up and try to be Oprah Winfrey, if Caresha just sticks to being Caresha, Caresha will be okay. She will. Um, her and JT, girl, here we go. Listen again. I feel like I have to say this again. God, I don't keep up with the city girls like that, so I don't know the ins and outs of their beef. I don't know the ins and outs of how they fell out. But I will. But from the outside looking in, correct me if I'm wrong. Is this microphone on? It's on. I saw a clip from Caresha Please, and it was JT and Saucy and Young Miami, and they were saying how I guess at one point I guess JT really didn't know what she wanted to do. She had just got out of prison, I guess. She was trying to get back to the groove of things, blah 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 blah. And I heard Young Miami say, you know, she looked up and JT was doing music, and she had been working on music and she didn't know. This is where I feel like I need some understanding. What I need from you is understanding. I need some understanding. Um, if and I need a timeline. If you were saying there was no money in the group, because this is what Caresha said. Caresha said that it got to a point and she can't pinpoint when it started, but they kind of started to become disconnected. When they would go on tour, she said that they would have different dressing rooms, different glam squads. The only time they would really interact with each other was on stage. Um, she said even when they would get together to have conversations, it just would be off. When they would try to, I guess, meet up to have photo shoots, she would have on a leotard, and JT would be girl. JT would have on a lesbian power suit. You know what I'm saying? So I'm coming. I got my ass hang out and you covered up. Like, girl, what is we doing? Girl, you gotta show a titty or something, sister. You know what I'm saying? Um, but if y'all were telling JT that she needed to go ahead, I mean, y'all wish she saw her potential, blah blah blah. And if you're also saying that there was no money in the group, and if you're also saying that, girl, at one point you had to realize, girl, I got to create my own brand, then it doesn't sound like JT did anything differently than what Caresha did. Caresha, you said, bitch, ain't no money in this group no more. We pretty much going broke in a nutshell. Because if the money if the money ain't coming in, if I'm spending, like, let me tell you something. If I spend $5 and I don't have $5 coming in or $10 coming in, because not only am I not saving, but I'm also not replacing the $5 I just spent. So, girl, if y'all are just spending money, but girl, y'all ain't making no money, girl, eventually, girl, you gonna go poor. You gonna go broke. Hello? So the money ain't coming in. I'm sure you got kids, right? Not I'm sure. You got kids. You still got bills. So Caresha said she had to kind of change the course. She had to start concentrating on her own brand. Again, I don't know how's that. Maybe again, I don't know the full timeline, but I just don't know. It almost felt like even when she said, "Yeah, she started working on music," and I didn't find out till later. Okay, when did she find out she was doing a podcast? You know what I'm saying? What if she realized also, girl, this money ain't making no group? I gotta hurry up and try to do something. Maybe that was a miscommunication between them. I don't know. But she also said that basically, from what I got from her and JT, not from JT, what I got from Caresha on her relationship with JT is that it ain't no beef. The group does not exist anymore. It's over for the City Girls. That's still her family. They don't talk every day. Girl, they more than likely probably shoot each other a text on their happy birthday, right? Happy birthday, sister. I got from Caresha, if we see each other out in public, girl, we'll give each other a hug. Hey, sister, how you been? Good, girl. We're gonna have to catch up one day. Now, whether that one day gonna ever come, we don't know. But from what I got from Caresha, I don't think there is any beef. They're just not as close as they used to be. Um, I think when they got into the argument on social media, I think that played a big part into it. You know, when you start getting into it with your people on social media, honey, that's like the kiss of death. It really is. Okay. But there's no beef. They're just not as close as they used to be. And that's really what it is. Um, and I think that they'll eventually come around, not to necessarily working back professionally or even as a group, but I think they'll eventually come back around to getting closer. Now, will they ever be as close as they probably once were? Probably not, right? But I do hope that they can find their way back to, or at least I hope they don't just lose their friendship altogether. Even if it's only, girl, we getting together, you know, for Christmas time, right? Because people grow apart. People start to have kids. People have families. People start to, people have their own stuff going on. So, girl, everybody can't talk every day and text every day and hang out every day. But, girl, again, hopefully they can just make the time to make sure their friendship doesn't just completely just blow up. Anyways, the JT versus Cardi stuff, I don't know nothing about that. They talked about JT and Cardi getting into it. I don't even remember JT and Cardi getting into it. But JT and Cardi got into it. I guess some fans felt like she should have picked a side or helped JT, I guess, argue with Cardi. She felt as though that was JT's fight. Now, let me just say this. I also feel like that probably was around the time. Was that around the? I'm asking y'all. Was that around the time that JT and Caresha kind of started kind of floating apart? Because Caresha made a comment that, girl, don't ever get it twisted. I don't mind taking up for my friends. Girl, I don't mind doing a 1-2 for my sister. In that situation, I just felt like JT, she can handle it. So, with her saying that I got into it with Asian Doll, you already know, girl, I swing now and ask questions later. But with Cardi, it was, well, girl, you got it. Was that around the time that her and JT were probably not as close? If that's the case, I understand it. Cause girl, I don't even fool, girl. I mean, girl, that's my sister, but girl, I'm mad at her today. I'm mad at her. I'm not arguing with her. No. And then on top of that, girl, do you really want to be online arguing? I mean, I guess, girl. I mean, I guess kind of like you got to pick your battles. Anyway, so let me know about that. She's no longer dating Diddy at all. Saucy asked her basically, did her and Diddy end because she didn't want to be attached to that mess? she she basically kind of said no in a way, but girl, that's what it was. Good, like Caresha. If you and this man were in, let me say something. This is where, girl, just say what it is, Caresha. Now I hate to say you lying, but now you kind of lying. Instead of just saying yes, I had to make sure that I looked out for myself and for my kids. So I had to do what was best for me. And me being attached to him in this moment with all the allegations and stuff that's going on would have not helped my career. That's what Carisha should have said. But you want to play this game of, no, what did you, hold on, did I write down? Okay, I gotta write down exactly what she said. But she pretty much in a nutshell said no. And it's like, but that's what it was. Because you can't sit here and tell me to my grown ass face. See, I'm too old for this shit. I listen to what the girls be saying. You can't sit here and tell me that in one breath that y'all were in love. You were in love with him. He was in love with you. You never experienced any of these things that people are saying that he does to them, right? And that he treated you like a woman. You felt basically you were in your soft era with him. He made you become this gentle person, right? This is the stuff that Carisha is saying. We were in love with each other. I felt like a woman. He made me feel like a woman, right? I could be soft. I wasn't so raw, right? I was gentle with people, you know. Then you got him taking you on shopping sprees, and girl, you getting flued out. You know what I'm saying? You're going to the Met Gala. You're all up and through Vogue. You're meeting the who's who, and so you end the relationship because of what? Because it sounds like from you the relationship was perfection. So if you ain't getting your ass whooped and he treating you like a queen, right? And y'all in love with each other, and he's helping you with your business and putting you on and opening up doors for you, girl, and giving you an allowance, hello, and taking you on shopping sprees, girl. That sound like the life to me. But when you factor in that we also see him knocking Cassie head all up and through a hallway and stomping on her, and then we start to hear him about him blowing up cars, just say, girl, it felt like a fairy tale until it wasn't. And once I started to hear all of these allegations and accusations, and once I saw that video, I had to catch ghosts. I couldn't believe that that was the man that I had fallen in love with. Girl, that's how she should have worked that. He was great to me. It was almost kind of like two different people. I didn't understand what people were saying. That's why it took me so long to kind of grasp and to leave the relationship, because the way that he treated me and the things that he showed me was not. I didn't see it. I couldn't see it. I was blinded by love, because she could have worked that moment. Girl, y'all need to call me, bitch. I'm damn near Olivia Pope. Hello. Anyway, um, Saucy gives Carisha her flowers. He starts crying. That's his friend, right? Um, and then she talks about her not being able to release music because I guess the people say that there's no growth. Can I say? I'm about to say something that's gonna be. It's gonna sound like it's shady, but I'm really not being shady. I get it to a certain degree. Girl, you can't be 40 years old talking about a girl selling pussy for a Chanel bag. You know what I'm saying? Because it just sound like, are you 40? I hear still talking about rapping about Chanel bags and pussy. You know what I'm saying? But I also believe that when I hear people act, it's no shade. When I hear people act like JT and Young Miami was just these Lauryn Hills and Nicki Minaj's, it's kind of like, girl, I just feel like, girl, with JT and Young Miami, the music is the music. Even when JT coming out with Sideways and Okay and all of that, I feel like some people were too hard on JT. Girl, what were y'all expecting to hear? Lauryn Hill? Girl, Missy Elliott? Girl, Eve? Girl. I just feel like people are who they are and they give what they can give. And again, yes, you want to switch it up, right? But at the same breath, I'm also not mad at girl. I know what you can give. Like I know Beyonce can give what Beyonce can give. It's no different than how I felt about Rihanna. Remember when Rihanna came to the Super Bowl and there were people out there who were disappointed in the performance? I was like, well, what was y'all expecting? Because even though Rihanna, even if Rihanna wouldn't have been pregnant, Rihanna wouldn't have been on stage doing a whole bunch of carrying on. When have you ever seen Rihanna in her career get on stage and give your old girl a count, girl dancing, swinging? How you ain't never ever seen that. So why would y'all think that she would start that party? Like, you see what I'm saying? Like she's given, but girl, at this point, you know what to expect from Rihanna. You know what you're gonna get from Usher. You know what you're gonna get from Chris Brown. You know what you're gonna get from Christina Aguilera. You know what you're gonna get from Beyonce. You know what you're gonna get from Rihanna, and you know what you're gonna get from JT and Caresha. And you know what you're gonna get from Nicki Minaj. You see? So I feel like at some point it's like, girl, I just think Caresha gonna just put out the music. And if people like it, people like it. People don't, and people don't. I'm listening to City Cinderella. It ain't like I'm hearing JT just sing about. She's still talking about pussy. Like, anyways, let me shut up. She says she feels like she lost her personality. The comments really got to her. Girl, y'all better stay out them comment sections, honey. I think Meg Thee Stallion don't control her social media anymore. They said Beyonce doesn't control hers. I think Beyonce got like a little foo-foo. I think she got a burner account. I ain't gonna say a lot of you. I damn sure think Beyonce be on the internet. Okay. I think she be on the Shade Room Neighborhood Talk, All True Tea. I do. I think she be lurking. Like, girl, let me see what's going on. But she says the comments really got to her. The negativity, people telling her she ain't shit. She started to believe that she wasn't shit. People telling her she couldn't rap, not to dance, and so she that kind of stifled her in a way. And now she's put in this position where it's like I just don't even want to like show. I don't even want to like have fun. Like I don't even want to go live anymore because if we go live and I say something and I'm just like she said, I used to go live all the time. Now I don't even want to go live because if I say one wrong thing, I'm just kicking with my sisters. If I say one wrong thing, they make the headlines and y'all twisting my words up. So I don't even want to go live. So I was like, I get what she's saying. It's sad. I hope that Caresha can get to a point where she doesn't let the comments bother her. I mean, the truth is we're all human. It's only so much you can take when, and I'm sure with her having her platform, it's one thing when us, girl, girl got a couple of followers on Facebook, Instagram, and somebody might disagree with what you say and tell you ain't shit, you stupid. Whereas another thing when you have a platform like Young Miami, you got a million people telling you ain't shit, you ain't stupid. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you stupid, So I get it. Hopefully she could just kind of find her way back. And then it's some game. Again, I don't know what Caresha was saying. Either she said Russian roulette, Russian, Risha. I think she said Risha. Risha roulette, Risha who wrote it, or Risha reloaded. I don't know what that bitch was saying. It's some game, but the game sound fun though. And then, girl, it was one of the questions. It was like a game where you ask a question. If you like don't want to answer the question, take a shot, something like that. Bitch, when one of the questions was basically, have you ever purchased fake designer? Bitch, girl, that was a question for Saucy. Girl, when Saucy said, "Give me that shit," let me see. He got that card. When he got that card, he was like, "Have you ever purchased fake designer?" He said, "This is off the runway." Cause that was so 2018. Okay. Anyway, that was funny. And then when she asked him, "Have you ever had to basically have sex to get out of a situation?" And then he drunk all the shot, and then turned around and took a sip of his drink. Anyway, it was cute. Um, it was a cute interview. Again, there were parts where I felt like they could have went in a little bit more. She should have elaborated a little bit more. Saucy should have given a little pushback. Again, that's his best friend, so I don't expect him to just get up there and completely disrespect her. But I would have hoped If it was me and it was my best friend, we would have had to sit down and say, "Sis, if you want me to do the interview, I could do the interview. That's not a problem. But girl, if we're gonna do the interview, we need to do it the right way, and we need to go there in certain areas. I get that you can't say everything, right? But if we're gonna talk about Puffy, you're gonna have to say a little bit more. You know, you can't. We can't be out here talking about you a two-time domestic, DV survivor. But girl, you don't even want to touch on the fact that the man who you fell in love with was knocking Cassie head between the washer and the dryer. That it just can't go. You're gonna have to. You're gonna have to. You're gonna have to say a little 1-2 about that video. Okay. Or either girl, either we just don't need to. You know what I'm saying? Like, girl, you're gonna have to give something. Again, I wasn't mad at the interview. I saw some people in the comments saying that she didn't really talk about nothing. I thought she talked. I think she could have elaborated more. I thought the interview could have been at least about 10 extra minutes. But I didn't think it was a bad interview. I really honestly didn't. I think Caresha really has something with Caresha Please, even though Girl Puffy was out there buying her awards. Let me shut up. I think Caresha has something big with Caresha Please. I don't think she should give up on that. I think that if Caresha stays true to herself and doesn't try to become this Oprah Winfrey, blah, 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 just a hood chick who's sitting around having kikis and giggles with the niggas and the bitches, I think she'll be good to go. I really do. Um, yeah, and I think that her music will be okay. Yeah, I think Caresha is okay. Caresha gonna be okay as long as she keeps putting in the work and stay your ass off the internet, girl. Stop reading the comments, okay? All right, that's it. I'm gone. I'll talk to y'all later. Girl, when Saucy said, "Girl, you know my jacket too tight." Girl, no, it's too small. Okay. Anyways, bye, y'all.